Today we have a kanji recap, 10 kanjis using the radical person. The kanji for person comes from a pictogram of a side view of a standing man, highlighting an arm and a leg, and bending a little bit. One more thing to know is that this kanji can also act as a radical. However, the radical form looks slightly different. Some examples with this radical are body, rest, and Buddha. This kanji has two main kun readings, hito, which again means person, and ri, as in the word futari, or two people. As for the on reading, we have jin, which denotes nationality, as in the case of Italia jin, meaning Italian person. And as for a second on reading, we have nin, which is a counter of people, as in san-nin, or three people. Please do not confuse this kanji with the kanji to enter. What is the biggest difference? The stroke order. So watch out. One last note. This kanji has 2 strokes, and it is a JLPT N5 level. And as I said earlier, the stroke order is critical for this kanji. The kanji for Buddha has evolved over time, and now we have a simplified version. The original kanji was divided into 2 parts. The left was a person. The right meant not correctly, and it also gave the sound. These two together gave the meaning of Buddha cannot see things clearly, but wants to see them clearly. The kun reading is hotoke. Here you can see a magazine advertising a hotoke no bijutsu, which is an art gallery of Buddhas. The on reading is butsu. The example is butsuso, which means a statue of Buddha. Fun fact, due to the sound, this kanji is often used to represent friends. Though it is usually written in katakana, the kanjis that have been selected to write friends are Buddha, orchid, and West. Pretty cool, right? Do not confuse the kanji of Buddha with the kanji to pay. The main difference lies in the radical of each. While Buddha has a person, pay has a hand. One last note, this kanji has 4 strokes and it is a JLPT N2 level. So next time you visit a Buddha in Japan, you will recognize the kanji and not get lost. Let's dive into a super common kanji that is not just skin and bones, the kanji body. The most bizarre thing about this kanji is that it did not look anything like the kanji we know today. As for the original kanji, it was composed of 2 parts. The left, it was bone, and the right was both the phonetic character and it meant abundant. And well, something full of bones was a body. Over time, the kanji body was simplified and the current kanji is still divided into 2 parts. The left is the radical for person, while the right you might recognize it from the kanji origin. Kun reading is karada. The example is karada or body. The sentence is karada no jiku to naru seboni to kotsuban. The spine and pelvis are the axis of the body. Fun fact, in Japanese culture, the body is seen as more than just a physical form. It is a sacred vessel, an instrument for refinement, a means of artistic expression, a participant in social harmony, and a part of natural cycle. The on reading is tai. The examples are taiku, physical education, and taion, body temperature. Do not confuse body with rest. Look closely. Can you see the difference? Yes, body has the kanji origin, while rest has the kanji tree. This kanji has 7 strokes. It is important to know that the concept of body is key in Japanese culture, from maintaining physical health to appreciating the form in traditional arts. Imagine this, you've been working all day, your body aches, and all you want is close your eyes and rest. That simple image is exactly what today's kanji is all about. But let's dig a bit deeper by looking at its shape. On the left, you see the person. On the right, you see a tree. Put them together and it is literally a person resting against a tree. It is the perfect visual representation of taking a break, finding a moment of rest, and relaxing after a long journey of hard work. Fun fact, today's kanji can be found in the word oyasumi, which carries a lot of warmth. It is a more heartfelt way of saying good night than a simple farewell, wishing someone a truly peaceful and restorative rest. The kun reading is yasu. The example is yasumu or to rest. The sentence is 今日は一日休む宣言. I'm announcing that I'm taking a day off today. The on reading is kyu. The examples are kyuka or day off and kyujitsu or holiday. Please do not confuse. This is a kanji that is commonly confused with the kanji for body. But as you can see, rest is a person with a tree, while body is the person with origin, also known as the kanji for book. So next time you're feeling exhausted or very tired, please remember this kanji. This is the person leaning against that tree. A simple, timeless reminder. Sometimes it is okay to rest. What does it really mean to be a samurai? Not the katana, not the armor, but something deeper, a person who serves. And this kanji proves it. On the left-hand side, we have the radical for person. The right side, although it is nowadays known as a temple, used to be a hand holding a tool in a waiting position. These two together will finally give the idea of a person standing by in readiness to serve. Therefore, the original meaning of samurai wasn't about warrior status, it was about loyal service, which makes the name even more powerful. The kun reading is samurai. The example is samurai. The sentence is Chichini no samurai, the 7 samurais. Fun fact, while their swordsmanship is famous, samurai were also expected to be educated in arts, poetry, and philosophy, embodying a blend of military might and intellectual discipline. The on reading is ji. The example is ji or court physician and jijo or lady attendant. Do not confuse. There are several kanjis that samurai gets confused with, and wait is one of them. Key point is the radical. Samurai is obviously a person, isn't it? Samurai shows up in history books, anime, and even brand names. But don't be fooled by the glamour. This kanji reminds us, to be a samurai is to serve with dignity, to wait with purpose. What is the one thing that can take years to build, but only seconds to destroy it? Trust. And in Japanese, that trust is hidden inside this kanji. This character means belief, trust, or faith, and it's made of 2 parts. On the left, the person radical, someone is standing before you. On the right, we have a character that means words or speech. The core idea behind this kanji trust is a person standing by their word. This visually represents the foundation of trust and belief that an individual will be true to what they say. Fun fact, the word communication or tsushin beautifully illustrates how communication relies on the underlying trust that the information being shared is accurate and reliable. The on reading is shin. The examples are shinjiru or to believe and shingo or signal. The sentence is なぜ自分を信じることができないのか? Why we cannot trust ourselves? Do not confuse trust with speech. As mentioned before, speech is part of the kanji trust. After all, trust starts with communication. Picture this. A friend looks you in the eye and says, "Don't worry, I'll be there." If you see the person radical standing firmly and their words beside them, that is trust. What does it mean to be entrusted with something? To hold responsibility not just for yourself, but for others? In Japanese, this powerful idea is captured in a single kanji, the kanji duty or responsibility. The character is made of two parts. On the left, we have the person radical. It tells us this kanji is all about people. The right side shows what looks like a type of shoulder pole, which symbolizes a burden or a responsibility. Putting it all together, today's kanji represents the act of entrusting someone with a task and that person's acceptance of the responsibility that comes with it. Fun fact! Today's kanji can be found in professional titles to signify a person's role or rank. For example, shunin or chief in tannin or person in charge. The kun reading is maka. The example is makaseru or to entrust. The sentence is makaseru shasho hodo kaisha wa umaku iku. The more the president delegates, the better the company will perform. The on reading is nin. The examples are sekinin or responsibility and jinin or resignation. Do not confuse responsibility with a ten. I'm sure you can see that both kanjis have the radical for person, but let's not forget that responsibility is the burden carried in your shoulders. So next time you see this kanji, remember, it is not just a kanji. It is a reminder of trust, responsibility, and the weight we carry for others. Have you ever wanted to live forever? Well, today's kanji, hermit, wizard, might just hold the secret. Let's start by saying that the original kanji looked quite different before. The original kanji is made of two parts. The left is the well-known radical for person. The right was a phonetic character and the kanji to ascend. Why a person ascending? This translated to people ascending heaven and becoming immortal. Later, the right was simplified into a mountain, indicating a person who enters the mountains or hermits to practice and become immortal. The on reading is sen. The example is sennin, or in Taoism, the immortal mountain wizard. The sentence is Nandemo sennin no jinsei ga dondon yokunaru shimpuru na oshie. The simple teachings of the wizard that will make your life better and better. Fun fact, are immortals real? In Taoism, the sennin are legendary immortals who gain eternal life through meditation and secret elixirs. Some say they could ride the wind and disappear into thin air. Do not confuse hermit with mountain. Early learners might confuse these two, but a hermit shows the radical for person, and that's why radicals are so cool. This kanji has 5 strokes. Have you ever wondered what would you do if you were immortal? Well, can you imagine how many more kanjis will you be able to learn? What will happen if you were the eldest member in your family? Perhaps you'd be the one everyone looks up to, the one who carries the weight of tradition. In Japan, there is a kanji that captures the sense of seniority and respect, the kanji chief. This character is made of 2 parts. On the left, we see the person radical, which tells us the character is related to people or roles in society. On the right, you might think it is about the color white, but that is not correct. If you look at the original inscription, it used to be a prominent eye, which, as you might guess, it got simplified over time. In ancient society, elders were often considered the most intelligent and experienced, so the use of an eye emphasizes their perceptiveness, leading to the meaning of chief. Fun fact, have you ever noticed that there are 2 ways to write uncle? The first way uses today's kanji, and it refers to uncle that is your mother's or father's older brother, while the other kanji used for uncle refers to your mother's or father's younger brother, and the same rule applies to your aunt. The own reading is haku. The example is gahaku or master painter artist. The post says, Maiken gahaku no T-shatsu sasuga desu. Just as expected for a shirt from the master artist Maiken. Do not confuse chief with overnight. Both have completely different etymologies, but they both share the same own reading. Main difference, the radical for chief is all about people. So today's character is not just about family ties, it's about the person who stands above the rest by age, wisdom, or social rank. Would that be you in your family? Why not picking above and beyond today's kanji? That is because today we are reviewing the kanji inside. Come on in to see these cool facts. Let's start off by saying that what looks like the kanji for person, it is not. Instead, it originally was the kanji to enter, and the bottom used to represent an enclosure or boundary. These two together would convey the meaning of entering within a defined space, which beautifully captures the concept of inside. Fun fact, today's kanji forms a natural pair with soto, meaning outside. This concept is very important in Japanese culture, influencing everything from language use to social interactions, emphasizing the distinction between one's inner circle and the world beyond. The own reading is nai. The examples are kokunai or domestic and inai or within. The sentence is 65歳以上限定国内の旅 Domestic travel for 65 years old and older. Do not confuse inside with capture. Inside has a boundary around, while capture has a full enclosure as if it was a jail. This kanji has 4 strokes. Did you enjoy today's story? I really thought it was a person from the longest time. Do you do the same? Now, I got a challenge for you. What is the meaning of this word? Type it in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this very wise video, and if you want to become even wiser, don't forget to subscribe. Yay!